Hey there, it's Coach Kristen. And for today's Menopause Motivation Monday, I want to talk to you about a specific hormone balancing blueprint. And this is really what I help women put together for themselves in a way that they can navigate menopause and heal their symptoms and lose the belly fat and just feel better in their own skin. So to recap, last month I went through kind of each week detailing the 4 pillars of health in menopause, like what we need to really be focusing in and dialing in on specifically to navigate menopause and not experience these uncomfortable symptoms and reverse these hormone imbalances so that we can lose the belly fat and have more energy and less fatigue and not feel so exhausted and just blah. I hear that a lot. I just feel blah. And this is really where I've been able to help so many women is to put together their new roadmap, for this phase of life. And just to put a fancy name on it, I've called it the hormone balancing blueprint, right? And what it is, though, actually, it's a system to live in this phase of life and not just exist, right? We want to live, we want to thrive, we don't want to just survive. And so just to recap that real quick, we talked about nutrition, right? Eating, when we eat, what we eat, how we eat, and why we're eating. These are all important components that we put into that nutrition piece of this hormone balancing blueprint. Number 2 is movement. Like, are we moving? As we get older and, those hormones aren't there to necessarily boost our energy in a way that we want to move more, we have to really put this in place. And I think of putting in those habit stacking, just basically habit stacking system that goes along with all this, right? We have to make sure we have things in place so that we can move more, right? Because otherwise, I'll get around to it or later or after this or after that. I hear that a lot. Like, I just don't have the time, and I get it. We're busy, we're stretched, we've got a lot going on, and that's a whole nother piece of this puzzle is the stress, right? How we're managing our stress and movement, meaning getting outside, going for a walk, just breathing calmly as we move through space, maybe putting on some music and just getting around and moving, right? So that's an important piece of the puzzle when we look at how do we feel better in menopause. So we've got nutrition, when we eat, how we eat, and why we're eating. We look at movement, not just for exercise, but to actually help us manage stress. And then we've got, strength training, right? This is really important because we lose 3 to 5% of our muscle mass after we turn 40 years old. And it actually starts at age 30. So we're already on that decline. Unless we do something to mitigate that by strength training, we will literally deteriorate as far as it goes with having muscle mass. And muscle is a super important component of how we age and longevity and how we feel, how we're protecting our immune function, preventing disease, which is something, we focus on a lot at this stage in life. We are right now in a hotbed in menopause for being more susceptible to long-term disease. We know brain health, diabetes, heart health, cancer, all these things that we really, we might even be in fear of. We can take steps to, really stave that off. So I encourage you, strength train. Number 4 is sleep. how are you sleeping? Because this is where really I think the magic sauce is because if we're not sleeping well, our body isn't getting the proper recovery and rest and repair space in order to get up and actually, really be able to put all these things in place that we want to be able to do. Not only, eating well, moving, strength training, all those things, we need to have rest in order to be able to do that. But also, and this is the fifth pillar, is that stress management. How are we managing our stress? And I think of sleep with stress management, and all of it, right? It all goes in together. I think of it like it's like pieces of a puzzle, and they all are in the same puzzle of menopause and life after reproduction, right? We have to put these pieces together to create the puzzle of our life that is confusing, right? And sometimes it's really hard to figure out what piece goes where. And that's really where my hormone balancing blueprint comes in, because I've done the research, I've studied the science, I've worked with the doctors, and what I've been able to do is put together a system that works for women at this phase in life to feel their best, to lose the belly fat, and to just really thrive again. Because I feel like so many of us are in this state where like, I don't know how this happened, or I don't know what this is, or I'm not sure what's going on, or let me go to this doctor or that doctor. And really, this is just a natural process that we don't have to suffer through. And there are tools to put in place to help us manage it. So with that said, let's just recap. What are the tools, right? What are the tools that I need to put in place? And so this is the review. So we know it's nutrition, right? We know movement. We know we have to do some strength training. We know we have to sleep well, get a good night's sleep. And we really have to manage our stress. And those together make up the puzzle of what goes into the hormone balancing blueprint. And so I want to offer you, a space on my calendar to talk about how can we help you through this time and space? What do you need to thrive? And, I'll talk to you about what this blueprint looks like. And, you can take bits and pieces. And then if you want to work with me, that option is in there. I'm coming up on offering another course coming up, the Me No Pause coaching program. And that's going to start in September 18th. And I think of this time, this space that we're in as this transitionary phase, kind of parallels life for us, right? We are, most of us, if you're anywhere near my age, somewhere in your 50s, maybe 40s even, I wish I had known when I was going through perimenopause what was about to come my way. And I wish I'd really been prepared for it. But be that as it may, we can embrace where we are now before it gets too late. So I encourage you not to wait, not to put this off, to really make yourself a priority, right? Maybe the kids are back in school. Maybe you have some breathing time, and maybe you don't. And either way, no matter where you are, this work that we do here, and I don't even think of it as a work. It's self-care that we put in place, is critical to our long-term health and well-being. Many of us are taking care of our parents these days, right? Our parents are sick, and we're having to put a lot of our time and resources and energy into taking care of them. Well, think ahead. If you have kids, do you want to put your kids through that? Or do you want to now take ownership and responsibility and really put yourself, I have one client who said, excuse me, just recently, she said, we talked about bringing her to the front burner of her stove, maybe she's on the back burner. And she told me, she's not even on the counter near the stove. That's how much she had lost herself in the scheme of taking care of everyone else around her. And that's a dangerous place to be. Because if we don't put ourselves somewhere in there, let's get on the stove. Let's get ourselves on a burner, right? It doesn't mean we'll not take care of everything else, but we'll actually have more energy and focus and clarity to take care of everything else if we can put ourselves on our priority list. Because without that, we're going to end up passing this on to our kids, and they're going to end up having to take care of us. So I encourage you, we're in a transitory time right now. We're changing seasons. We're coming into the last few months of this year. Where do you want to be in 2024? And what if you put yourself on that front burner now, just for 12 weeks, to really get yourself on a trajectory where you feel better, you feel good when you look in the mirror? What would that be like? Loving what you see in the mirror each morning when you wake up. Picture that, because you can have that. It's just a matter of making you a priority. So for today, we're starting a new month. We're taking what we've learned. We're moving ahead with it. And I want to offer you a space to really step into this hormone balancing blueprint, a system to put into you to really, it's not a system that you're going to take on. It's a system we're going to create together that gives you what you need to balance your hormones so that you can lose the weight and feel better and have more energy and really put those puzzle pieces together so you create the beautiful, amazing you that you are meant to be. So take this with you. I hope you're having a great weekend, long weekend, and think about how you want to spend these last few months of this year to set yourself up to move forward. And I hope that I get a chance to kind of talk to you about it and visit and see how we might be able to work together to help you put that puzzle together for yourself, for you to experience that hormone balancing blueprint, your own system, to feel amazing. So if this is something you want, I encourage you to, book a spot on my calendar. Go to the link below and you'll go to my website, just schedule a call and it'll get you started. And that's really the first step. What's one thing you can do this week? I always say that. What's one thing you can do? Maybe it's scheduling a call. So I encourage you, set it up, schedule that call, and I will look forward to talking to you. Have a great rest of your day.